targeting the country's energy grid in nighttime attacks. These strikes have caused widespread blackouts affecting many as Kyiv implements rolling power cuts to manage shortages. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has condemned the attacks, accusing Russia of seeking to create chaos and apply psychological pressure on civilians. Russia has also fired over 5,000 long-range drones last month. Kyiv has responded with strikes on Russian oil depots and refineries, aiming to disrupt Moscow's energy exports. In related developments, the International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants against top Russian military officials over attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure. The Ukrainian military has stated that it is raising the number of its assault groups in a bid to counter Russian forces. Ukrainian officials have said that the situation in the city of Pokrovsk remains complicated and dynamic. Ukrainian forces report that they have improved position in several districts of the city, signaling ongoing efforts to stabilize the front lines. Meanwhile, according to a Russian news agency, the Russian Defense Ministry claims that Ukrainian soldiers surrounded in Pokrovsk have begun to surrender. Now for this discussion, we welcome Dr. Anna Matveeva. She's a senior visiting research fellow at King's College London and Russia Institute London. Thank you very much for joining us. Good to see you. Doctor, now what's your analysis on this situation? Are we heading towards the end of this war as we know the logistics over Pokrovsk and how it could impact Ukraine's front line?
I think, unfortunately, we are not heading towards the end of the war. We are heading towards further escalation. If I may remind the audience about the fighting over Bakhmut in 2023, 2 years ago, that was another Ukrainian city, a very bloody contest over about a year. Eventually, Russian forces have taken it. That has not really changed overall battlefield position. Yes, that was a setback for the Ukrainian side, but it did not really make a kind of strategic breakthrough for Russia. There have been analysts, including in the West, saying that that it is not really worth for Ukrainians to spend so much manpower and equipment and suffer various casualties to defend this town, that perhaps they should have withdrawn and concentrate somewhere where they could really hold the line. We are seeing perhaps the repetition of the same story with Pokrovsk. Yes, it is important. Yes, it's under considerable pressure, and both sides are maximizing their effort. My prognosis, if you like, is that eventually the Russians would overpower Ukrainian defenses and it will be in the Russian hands. However, two questions arise. Whether it is worth Ukrainians to defend it at considerable cost, or maybe withdrawal strategy is a more sensible one so that they can rescue their troops. And secondly, whether that would create a launchpad for Russians to really launch a further offensive into the west of Donetsk region. That's what they would like to do, but that the fortifications are pretty formidable. Ukrainians have been preparing for that eventuality, so we do not know whether capture of Pokrovsk would actually mean some kind of decisive victory for the Russian side, which will make their further advance unstoppable.
Yes, Doctor, thank you for sharing that perspective. I agree with you. The war, it seems to be progressing. Do you think that there could be, U.S. could be helping out Ukraine with giving out Tomahawk missiles, or do you think U.S. still is hesitating to provide more aid? And do you think there is any other country in EU or in the coalition for the willings that could counter Russia's Russia's front line, or to give more support for Ukraine in the front lines?
I don't really think so. Yes, they can perhaps give more weapons here and there, but European stocks are largely depleted. So they are looking at buying weapons either from the US, which are very expensive, or from South Korea or some other producers. Then United States had actually last night implied that they would be willing to provide tomahawks, but presumably because Europeans would be paying for them. Operational significance of tomahawks is probably not great because it may take 15 to 18 months to embed them in Ukrainian army so they can be launched from the territory of Ukraine. That would require also the US military personnel to help with launches and navigation. That Ukraine just doesn't have that kind of technical capacity to do so. So in that sense, a military kind of dimension is nearly exhausted. But of course, political dimension of tomahawks is more important, because that, if that would actually be happening, and we don't quite know, that would signal a very major shift in Donald Trump's mind on how he wants to approach this conflict. So far, we have seen lots of zigzagging. Trump can do many things, including that if he would think that there is no deal in the making, he can